the main topic of the week. And I don't think Chiefs game is going to go to sleep until there's some closure to this in a good way. So got a few nuggets to pull from this week. So Chris Jones doing what he did a lot this past season with kind of trolling with social media. He's kind of pulling the Joel Embiid of the NFL with like trolling with Chief fans. So NFL Network's Mike Garofalo, during a roundtable discussion about the upcoming free agency period, mentioned he could see Chris Jones ending up in Las Vegas with the Raiders. A Chiefs fan commented saying he'd be dead to the Chiefs if he did this. Jones replied with the handshake emoji. And then Chiefs Twitter, of course, did their thing. They erupted. Then another fan tweeted saying it's not that serious. Chris Jones trolls all off seasons just to be dominated. He really just passing time and likes to interact with Chief fans, I think, /hope. And Chris Jones liked that tweet. But to go to more positive news, Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee show this week said Chris Jones' deal isn't done yet, but the Chiefs would be surprised if it didn't get done. And then a couple days before that, Jeremy Fowler reported that the feeling in Kansas City is they can reach the range of $27 million to $28 million per year. That should help close the deal. However, Fowler also noted the Chiefs have work to do because Jones could probably surpass those numbers if he hits the open market. So JD, as free agency nears, how confident are you that this deal gets done? Seeing all the stuff that went on this week, making a joke about the Raiders thing and all this stuff, are you concerned at all?
Okay, I'll start out with this. I would be shocked if the deal didn't get done. And for the reason that is because of the significance of Chris Jones, his play, him being here, is our championships is directly tethered to Chris Jones and what he's done on the field. There's no doubt about it. There's no get away from it. Like I said before, we're not winning 3 Super Bowls without Chris Jones. That's a fact. That's just, you're not going to be able to do it. Now, here's what I'll say, okay? Because I just kind of thinking about this. Yeah, this is Chris is MO, right? To mess with Chiefs Twitter, right? He knows that some of the fans are neurotic. He knows people out here are very nervous about particular things. They're very diehard fans, and rightfully so. This is something that I see as a former player myself, kind of the fandom, right? And the investment that fans have in teams. To me, when people say you do this and you're dead to us, I think sometimes to me that's a little bit too far, right? Chris does it. He kind of trolls people. He gets a kick out of it. But for fans, man, this is a serious deal for them. We understand like this, the psychology behind it is because we have an identity. You want teams to win. That's why, you get all the paraphernalia. You got all the, Chief stuff, that's what you do. And so when you invest so much in time and effort into, your fans and or to the team and the players, then it becomes personal to them. Right. And so they get so invested that this could be the bad part of like, if you're too invested into the team. Right. And I don't think Chris understood it. I didn't quite understand it as a player, like I said before, because as players, we understand the other side of the business. Look, we would love to go play at a team for 13 years like a Jason Kelsey, right? Like you used his name earlier, and not go anywhere else. And teams compensate you for what you've been doing, your productivity, and what you feel like your market value is and what you're worth, right? This is something that we do in our own daily lives, okay? That we want to get paid what we think that we're worth to get paid, especially with the market that has been set by other ones. And so you always want to compare yourself to other players on this. Well, Chris, I think when he's doing these, kind of playing with people on Twitter, fans on Twitter, Instagram, wherever else he's on, doing this, he has a whole different perspective as opposed to how the fans are. Because I look at it, okay, as a former player, like I said before, you want to get paid as much money as you possibly want to get paid. And if you feel like you're not being compensated for that and you're being lowballed, and it seems like teams are hindering you from moving forward with getting a better pay. Then for Chris, he's like, look, man, I've done everything I possibly do here with the Chiefs. I've given everything I've given to the Chiefs. All I'm asking you to do is get paid reasonably for what my production is. I will make everybody else around here better. I brought championships here to the Chiefs. And so I think Chris, he definitely deserves the 27-28 range. I think if they're around there, I think Chris takes it. I think he does, right? Because it's got to be it's got to be a give here, right? It's got to be a give and take. It has to be in these negotiations.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is sometimes the team is like, well, look, if you don't want to sign this deal, then you can just go ahead and move on, which I think is just kind of wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if what the guy's been giving you, you can immediately see the impact of what he's been able to do. Not to mention how it all went down the previous season. All off season you fought to try to get him here or lowball him, not going to give him nothing. He was, you were signed to a deal, and you talked about it. You said, okay, hey, look, we're going to get a deal done, and a deal didn't get done, right? And so all of a sudden he gets paraded out in front of different people. He comes to the stadium because he wants to be around his guys. People thought he was selfish, and now you need to take this, and so it all became a mess. Okay, because what you end up doing is once you get the fans involved in this, because of their investment, and they feel like they have say in what guys do and don't do, then again, it becomes messy. It might become a little nasty, and that's what I just don't want to see. I think the Chiefs, without a doubt, should be able to find that 28 mark for Chris. To me, he's worth every penny. He's worth every penny. So if we're talking about a million and a half, each year or something like that, that's what you're away. Come on, man, y'all got to be able to get this thing done.
Yeah.
So if the Chiefs are saying that, then that gives me at least some hope that they're going to try to go ahead and meet, where they should be, something that's reasonable for both of them. And if Chris is seeking $30 million, yeah, they might get him to walk. But this is what we're talking about, the free agency, Marcus. We was talking about that, right? This is what happens to free agency. If he goes out and teams like, look, man, we'll give you 31 or 32. Well, we seen how Tyreek Hill took the money. It went down to South Beach because it was a payday for him. He did everything he needed to do, I guess, in the NFL, won the Super Bowl. He's been regarded as one of the best receivers in the game. Okay. He thought he could go down, take his abilities and make Miami better. And he did. He did that. But he wasn't able to get a Super Bowl with them because he still have the other pieces on the team. I think if we don't have Chris, then it puts us in a situation too, maybe defensively, where that hurts us. Put it that way. I'm just going to be real. Okay. Like I said, you can't mimic Chris Jones and what he's been able to do. So that's why I think it does get done, man. I do believe it gets done. So
yeah, seeing the handshake emoji, I know a lot of people are pissed off about that, but I'm a big fan of the handshake emoji use this year. So there's multiple ways you can look at this. You do this and you're dead to us, I got you, brother. Not gonna happen. Don't worry. But people were taking that as a handshake emoji, like, all right, bet, like I'll do what I want to do, kind of thing. But like you could look at that in multiple ways. I thought it was funny, just having fun with fans. But seeing something here from Flapjack City, let's just check this out. I haven't seen this yet. It said he's trending on Twitter. KC Chiefs have a 3-year offer, 25 to 26 mil per year on the table for all world DT Chris Jones per source. This is trending on Twitter. Hope this ain't true. I'll be mad at Veach. If that is, I haven't seen anything on that. And I will say that sounds like the same offer that we had during the season for him, that the one that he didn't want to take. Right.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, that would be lowball numbers of 25, 26. Especially
with the cap going up.
Yeah, with the cap definitely going up. That to me, that would be disrespectful. I would be like, man, that's, you are now it's falling on deaf ears as far as like what you want. Okay. I don't know. This is a source. I know Flapjack City said per source. We don't know what the source is, who's saying this or whatever. No idea. Right. But if it is, like, there's no way. If you offer 25, 26, 27 could definitely be your number. 27, 28. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason why it can't be that much. So,
yeah, I'm seeing this on Twitter. It's from a Twitter account called @49ers Sports Talk. Has about 30,000 followers. Yeah, it's the same exact thing he just messaged here. It says the Chiefs had 3-year offer, 25 to 26 on the table for Chris Jones. I told Chris Jones knows he can get a 4-year deal and $30 million annually on the open market. The buzz around the combine was teams are lining up for Chris in case he knows it. I mean, I don't know where this guy's getting that 30,000 followers, but I mean, it's not. If Schefter and Fowler aren't reporting it, or those guys aren't reporting, I'll stick to what Schefter said 2 days ago. You know.
Yeah, I don't. It's not in law, man. I like I said, I kind of stay away from those things because I'm not sure what the thing is. And I think it was last year the same thing. They were kind of talking about what it was going to be.
Yeah,
49ers too. Come on, man. Yeah, if they want to do anything, they definitely want to get stress the Chiefs kingdom out here. Oh yeah, I heard a source, right? So you just beat somebody in the Super Bowl. Crushed their dreams, and all of a sudden now they got some source saying they know Chris Jones, the Chiefs are giving him low balling at 25-26. And if it's true, they need to get that number up. They do.
So let me ask you this, okay? And this is obviously we're going on this speculative 3-year 25-26 number. So I read that Christian Wilkins, a DT that's leaving Miami, who's going to test the open market. Yeah. I read that 3-year $25-26 million deal is something that he wants. What if? This is a speculative thing. I'm curious what your thoughts are on Christian Wilkins, essentially. Let's say Jones is like, no, I want 30. I'm going to hold firm at that. I'm going to test the open market because I know I can get that. Wilkins, he'll gladly take a 3-year, $25-26 million deal. What are your thoughts on potentially that and if we have a backup plan to that?
I mean, it's going to be a business. If that's what they decide to do, it's what they decide to do. My thing is, we know Chris Jones. We know what he gives to a defense. And so Wilkins, I mean, yeah, he's worked somewhere else, and he's very effective, but he's not a Chris Jones. So that's my thing. That's a big difference. And so when we're talking about, like, being able to affect the entire game, like, 2 guys I know for sure, okay? 2 guys in the NFL I know for sure can affect the game on defense, of defensive line, defensive tackles. It's Aaron Donald and it's Chris Jones. I know it for a fact. All these other guys are great too at what they do, okay? They usually have a guy beside them, another punch, and it's not really taken away from all the other guys been around Chris. But Chris hadn't really had the help like some of these other guys have had. So that's what I'm saying. And if Chris is looking and holding firm to 30, man, he just got to hold with his guns. Man, this is a game of chicken at this point. But my thing is, it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. Like I said, if you come into this and you've been here, this guy's had his whole career here. You don't won 3 Super Bowls with Chris Jones. Okay, 3-peat is very important for you, right? It's very important. Something that has never been done in the history of the game. You want to make this happen. Chris Jones has to be your top priority to make this happen. So if you're a meal or 2 meals apart, man, get it done. And I think everybody got to make concessions. Everybody has to, right? My thing is this, and this is going back to, fans and, how they're, because we get so invested in it. And that's what ends up happening, that you have stress. They talk about, like, people go into, like, depression after the season is over. When teams lose, depression. When people put so much money, like betting and, in so much engagement into these players and these teams, they don't like that when all these things are going on, What happens in this is because the team has won 3 championships, now all of a sudden it didn't feel like Chris Jones is worthy of these things, right? And you take away from his greatness, or at least doesn't recognize or say, well, he's not worth that much. If he wants to play here, then he needs to go ahead and give a team-friendly deal. He's done that, right? The guy wants to end his career here. Let's make it happen. Veach, make it happen. Shoot, he got a long-term deal with Andy, with Spags and all those guys. Man, he is synonymous with the Chiefs right now. Why not have him here for the rest of his time? I want Chris Jones, saying it right now, I want Chris Jones to have a retirement press conference like Jason Kelsey did.
Yeah.
Certain guys here that I want to see do that.
Yeah.
Chris Jones is one of them. Travis Kelsey's another. And Patrick Mahomes is the third.
Yeah.
All three guys.
None of this one-day contract to retire as a Chief. None of that. None of that nonsense.
Yeah. No, I'll bring him back, so but fans are serious about that. He'd be dead to us. Why?
Yeah.
Look, I get it. I do. I get it now. I do get it now. But some of this where we got to back up to, like, look, you know what? Like, we let these guys work these things out. Let them do what they need to do.
Everyone always says trust Veach, so let's trust Veach on this one, guys. So Flapjack said he's got another comment here. If we don't sign him by Sunday, how worried are we, JD? Are you extremely worried if it's not done by Sunday? Is there a time or day that you're setting, like, oh man, if he's not signed by this day? Because I guess most fans, and I am too, most fans are worried about the fact that as soon as the open market hits, if he hasn't already been, as soon as people calling him already, as soon as that market hits, you got the Raiders saying, hey man, we'll give you 30 to 35 a year. Come down to Vegas. You like the facilities, why don't you come on over?
It would really have to depend on the case, man. You had to make it something where offer he couldn't refuse. And I don't think Chris Jones, I'm saying I don't think, but I don't know. I'm not in his head. But I don't see a reason not to get this thing done, to run it down. And even if he is getting, pulled to get $30 million somewhere else, all money ain't good money. It's not. But he's got to take care of himself, his family. He's got to make sure his best interest is at heart. And so they got to be forthcoming with money. The Chiefs, they got to be like, okay, you know what? We'll bite the bullet. We got no problem with that. Hey, man, put it there. Sign the deal. Let's get it done. So, we as football players, we all been there before. I was at one point, I was the same way. That when your negotiations, like, look, man, what we gonna do? Our agent is here. We're there, and me and Carl was able to get something done. And I talked directly to Carl. Not my agent talked, and they, of course, they're blunt hounds, and Denny Thune, great guy. He was doing the contracts, and they was my agent and Denny going back and forth talking about these things. I had a conversation with Carl Peterson. It's a personal conversation. So that's what you have to do. Veach and these guys got to get it down, and Veach got like, look, man, we got to understand that Chris Jones is a staple in Kansas City. There's no reason why we need to let him leave anywhere else. Okay. So
if hypothetical here, if you were to go to Las Vegas, where would you put that compared to the Neil Smith going to Denver? Because that's a lot of what Chief fans are saying right there, saying if he goes there, that's like when Neil Smith went to Denver. Where would you compare that? Would you see it as very similar? I think the whole AFC West aspect really rubs people off the wrong way.
I don't know. It could be. That's like, for me, as a fan and as a player, I understand fully well if Chris goes somewhere else. I understand it. And sometimes if people don't appreciate you and then people will turn on you that quick, what makes it he has to be beholden to the guys, right? Yeah. Or the Chiefs kingdom. Yeah. Especially if he starts hearing the same thing, you'll be dead to us. And Chris like, well, what you want me to do? So you want me to sign the deal for $24 million, $25? Doesn't matter what they offer me? At what point do you feel like, I'm, being benevolent in what I'm doing, right? When is the team, the fans on my side? So it's just these things, man. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all, man. So we'll keep it posted on what goes on. We'll let these guys handle it. But I do believe they'll get a deal done, man. I do.
Yeah. Hopefully by next week's show, hopefully by our Monday show, we got something inked up. Hopefully they get something over the weekend done. Hopefully. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.